Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. Everyone sick, make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and him. Talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host, Aramis.
You know who it is.
There it is.
40 keys.
Do it again. And there's your boy, your producer in the building.
Get it up. There you go. We got to put the eyes right in the middle of that.
Man, let me just tell you, man.
What's up?
I'm happy to be here today. You know why?
Why is that?
Because Saturday, I didn't think I was going to make it. Dude, I went to Kansas Best Man's football game. Got home that night. I was in that mode. I was like, I got nothing left. I can't breathe. T, tell him I need him. Tell A&A I love him. I ain't going to make it through the night. I couldn't breathe. My nose was jacked up. My chest was like, I was like, who's sitting on my chest?
So wait, you played in the game?
I didn't play. I sat there.
Oh.
No, this is a real, this is a real game of Little League. And yeah, I was.
What position did you play?
Supposedly he's the safety. I don't know why they did that.
Oh, I like that position.
No, I don't like it for him.
Why?
He's a running back. He's fast as ever, and they screwed him.
Oh, they did.
He's like the smallest cat on the field. They moved him up a league, and he's the smallest cat on the field, and you put him in safety. And these dudes on the other team, they were bigger, and he didn't want no part of it. The hit that he didn't want.
So
that.
They moved him up because of his weight class?
No,
or?
because he was dominating. He was like literally he was having like 6 touchdowns a game.
Y'all should have vetoed that. Like, let him dominate. Who cares?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think if he would play running back, it'd been fine. But it was
in the
bigger
level
league.
he's in.
It's all Sean McDermott's doing, you know.
I know it is because he said, you know what, Brandon Beane said, you know what, make a call because he does play for the Bills.
That's usually
TTFA Bills. That's who he plays for. So Brandon Beane was like, get Key and everybody he loves.
Key man throw hands with McDermott, bro.
Hands and feet.
wait, Key. They can't see your feet though.
Nah, socked feet.
There you go.
Okay. All right. So we Billy D, what up? He says, what the?
Because I was sick.
I don't know, but maybe because of the thumbnail. I'll explain that in a second. What's going on, Nate? What up, ATL? What up, Steve? Steve says, how many times has this show started on time? # breaking stereotypes.
Nope, we on CP time. Forget that.
We do what we want to do.
Right?
D, what up? Says, what up? I can't wait for the season to get underway, man. Me either.
Huh? I was like, no, I don't have a granite gumball today.
Yeah.
I just brought you. You know what? How much water do you guys drink a day? How much of this do you drink?
It's supposed to be a gallon.
This is a gallon right here. You got to drink at least this a day.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
And I definitely have to because I had that cut water this weekend. Ooh,
how'd that go? I forgot to ask you about that. Really? Lit you up? That explains the gallon.
It was there.
That explains.
It was there.
It was lovely. Huh?
It was up there. I played like 7 games in NCAA and everything. It was there.
Did you even remember what you were doing?
I won. I lost to Penn State by a point. I was pissed off.
Wow, you almost beat a team?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, you got to sip some of that more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get ranked.
I'm just amazed. Like you never almost beat a team in college. Like
no.
you do so
Either
much
I do
losing.
it or I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we're gonna start the show off talking about how Tommy is absolutely wrong in saying it's not a bad signing at all for Jordan Phillips. You don't look so happy about that.
Oh, you put it on me. Oh, I was just trying to pull my notes up. I got a couple of them.
All right, let's just go ahead and start with this because to me, I think, and I said this to Tommy in our conversation, I completely understand, for those of you who are happy that Jordan Phillips is coming back. He's one of those infectious guys, he's got the energy and all that kind of stuff. And he's made some plays here. He had that one season where he had like
2019.
How many sacks did he have?
9.5.
9.5 sacks.
2019.
2019.
Mm-hmm. I just want to make sure I say it one more time. 2019, the year of our Lord, 2019, 6 years ago.
So let's go with your notes. How many sacks has he had since that point here?
Let's see. In Buffalo, I actually do have that. Hold on one second. Jordan Phillips, total sacks in Buffalo. 13.5.
Total since 2019?
Hold on a second.
Oh, okay.
Seasons. Okay. He had 61 games, 19 starts, 60 tackles. Yeah, 13.5 sacks.
Aside from the 9.5. Okay.
So in 2008, okay, I'll break it down. 2018 he had none. 2019 he had 9.5. 2022 he had 1.5. 2023 he had 2.5. 2024 he had none.
Oh, so he's at 13.5 total.
In all, what is this? 5 years of Buffalo tenure.
Triggs, I ain't see you in a minute. What's going on? It says, I am convinced Bean and McDermott wants to get themselves
They're
fired.
trying very hard, but
this is the way to do it. Yeah, this is the way to do it. I mean, look, so again, for those of you that are enjoying this signing and are kind of resigning to it's just a practice squad signing, I think.
But it's not. It's been confirmed. He's going to be on the 53. He signed to the 53. He's not going to practice squad.
Well, what they're saying is they're gonna. Oh, so
he's not going to the practice squad. He's going straight to the 53.
So there's been a couple of reports that said they were going to sign him, waive him, and then put him on the practice squad. I don't know how you do that.
You don't even have to do that. You don't have to do that.
Right.
You don't have to sign him, waive him. That's stupid. Yeah. He's not playing. So no, he's going to he's going to be released.
That's what they're saying. They're saying they're going to sign him, release him.
Why are you releasing him? You can sign him to the practice squad.
Yeah, you should be able to sign him directly to the practice squad. Yeah. I that you'd have to explain that to me. I have no idea how that makes sense at all. But here's the point. Because I really don't want to have this debate about what's going to happen. I mean, at the end of the day, if he's on the practice squad or on the roster, either way, bringing this guy back, and I even put AJ Klein in the thumbnail too to kind of make this point. Bringing Jordan Phillips back or any other play. Gabe Davis came back and people, some people were like, yeah, okay, finally we getting our boy back. He's made plays. They had a great playoff game. It's not an issue with the player, the person themselves. Like, I'm not going to walk up to Jordan Phillips and say, you got no business being here. You ain't supposed to, I'm not going to disrespect the man, the person like that. Mm-hmm. But it's what the person represents. And I think we've said this multiple times before. When you make a move like this, it's more about culture than it is actually helping the team win. Mm-hmm. Because if you look at the locker room of the defensive tackles, all of the arrows right now are pointing to Daquan Jones sticking out as a cap casualty. That's what everything is. If the Bills are smart, they won't do it. But if you look at everybody else that's on the landscape of defensive tackles right now, and you look at who they've got to cut, the number they've got to get down to, it looks like DQ is going to be the guy that they have to get rid of. So what does that mean? Well, Larry Ogunjobi can't even be around the team for 6 weeks.
He can only be in a meeting. So yeah, and I didn't want to cut you up, but somebody said, "Who else did you want?" Oh, Sean said, "Who else did you want for practice squad for DT?" You don't have to have one on the practice squad,
right? You
don't have to have one at all. I mean, you got Zion Lowe, who they're going to have on the practice squad. I'm pretty sure,
right?
So yeah, I mean, that's a moot point whether or not. But see, the thing is, they say you want them in the building early. Why? The players aren't here. They're not practicing yet. Mm-hmm. Why? What is a day going to make? Because he's be on the practice squad on Wednesday. I think you can do it. Mm-hmm. So what is the point of bringing him in now? What is the point of signing him and bring? See, this is the same thing that they do all the time, and that kind of pissed me off too. They always jump to stuff when you don't have to. Ogunjobi, you could have did that now. Jordan Phillips, you could have did that in 3 days. Why go through all these roster gymnastics, signing and dropping and all this stuff? Just do it. Just do it. You're overvaluing players that don't need to be overvalued. Mm. There's no market for these players, I'm pretty sure. Because, when Ogunjobi told you, I was pretty sure I was about to get cut. They're going to tear my contract up right in my face. And I told them I was going to be suspended. And they said, no, we're good. We'll still give you that $8 million out of the 10 or whatever we're supposed to give you. Mm-hmm. Why?
Sean Cool is saying, y'all are acting like he's going to be DT1.
I'm acting like he shouldn't be a DT12.
Right. I think that's kind of the point. See, here's the idea. The practice squad traditionally has been for guys to develop as a farm system within the franchise. And because the NFL doesn't have a farm system like baseball does, like hockey does, like basketball does, like football is the only sport there is no farm system for. So it's not like guys can just go down to a lesser league and get some burning, get some reps and really get coached up to be able to come up and perform at the NFL level. Doesn't work like that. College is the best you get, but even college is live bullets. You get in where you fit in, you find a spot, or you go to another college and try to find a spot there. That's it, right? So when you got a guy like Jordan Phillips, who's been here, who knows the defense and has had his opportunity to stick and still hasn't, coming to take a practice squad spot from somebody who probably needs it a little bit more than he does. And this is the point that I wanted to get to about this culture thing. And this is really why Jordan Phillips is being signed back. And this is why I'm upset about it. You bring a guy like that back to do what we've talked about very early on when we started the show. And I made this report that based on what I've heard as far as how the inner workings of the team works and how Sean runs things, he likes a lot of these older players to be the den mother of these position group rooms, right? So Jordan Phillips is not coming here. Excuse me. Jordan Phillips is not coming here just to sit on the practice squad and just be on the practice squad and not do anything. He's coming here with the expectation of bring that energy, teach our guys, lead them as a veteran so that they can understand how we do things here in the building. That's why they're bringing Jordan Phillips in, right? So there's your why. Now, the issue I think we both have with this is, why do you need that right now?
Let me ask you this. Why are we signing Jordan Phillips? Why are we signing Trey Whites? Why are we signing I don't know who else. There's a point. The point I'm getting to is, what is the average age of the Bills? 27 years old. 27 years and 13 days or something like that. What did we just resign? We just resigned who on a defense? Greg Rousseau. How old is Greg Rousseau now? He's in his fifth year?
Yeah, I think he's 24.
24 in his fifth year.
Yep.
Ed Oliver. How many years has he been in the league now? 6. He just resigned, right? When do those guys that you drafted, developed, and retained become the veterans?
Right.
When do they become the guys that you go to when you need advice? When do they become the guys that tell you what they've seen on the field? Why do we keep re-signing people and then signing people to play with the guys we re-sign to show the young guys the ropes? Why is it that we bring in Jordan Phillips again, who's done nothing in years? Why is it that we bring in Joey Bosa when you have Epenesa, you got Rousseau, you got Ed Oliver, you got Daquan Jones on the same line with the Landon Jackson, TJ Sanders, a Deion Walker, 2 guys of the 3 that you definitely think are going to be in a heavy rotation right away. But you're re-signing and you're signing these guys. Jordan Phillips is not coming to Buffalo to not play. He's not coming to Buffalo to not be on the active roster. I don't care what you think he's here for. He's not here for anything else but to make that active roster and play again.
Right.
He's taking snaps away. Joey Bosa is taking snaps away from Landon Jackson, from Epenesa, from Solomon, from whoever. But instead, you guys want to keep spending money after dollars after cents on guys that are in a rotation. You spent $27 million on 3 guys, 2 of which are suspended for the first 6 games of the season in a rotation. Ogunjobi is not good. When was he good? For what team? At what point was Ogunjobi any good? I don't remember this.
When he was with the Browns, he had a decent start to his career.
And that was how long is he now? He was 30 years old, 31, 32?
Yep, so it was about a decade ago.
Okay, so we'll be kind to say 8 years ago was the last time he was good.
Yeah.
So we give him a 1-year, $8 million contract. Don't you want to wait till after the draft and see? Let's see what we get first.
Right.
That's the signing you sign when you can't do anything else.
Yes.
But you got 2 guys that are itching to make the team, itching to make a difference, itching to learn. It's in a rotation. They're not going to play next to Ogunjobi. They're going to play next to Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones and whoever else you put back there. But instead, now okay, let me ask you this. How bad does Epenesa have to be for you not to be like, you know what? While he's suspended, we can go with Epenesa in the rotation with Solomon and Jackson and whoever else you want to bring in. You got to spend $12 million for that?
They think they do.
Right. But then you didn't see the face I made when the music was playing.
Mm.
But right now, look, the spot track, I was trying to find something else that says we're at negative $30 million in cap space right now.
Next year.
This year.
What?
Negative 30 million because of, well, you got to make your cuts and stuff like that. But negative $30 million in cap space because we converted to 53 and not to 51 anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they got to do a lot of cap gymnastics and restructure a lot of people to make this work. But instead, you're going to pay out the nose for these guys.
Well, I mean, people are going to say, oh, it's only $1 million for Jordan Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
No, the vet min is over $1 million.
It's like 1.7.
Yeah, it's almost 2. So, I mean, look, you've played more organized football than I have. You play semi-pro. I didn't play semi-pro, right? So I think you can probably speak to this more than I could. But based on what I've heard from players in the NFL, players like Greg Rousseau and Ed Oliver that have the bag already and are considered the most tenured players on the team and considered the cornerstones of the team, because usually the players you pay are the ones you count on the most, right? So this new wave of guys that the Bills have paid, the Ed Olivers, the Greg Rousseaus, the Christian Benfords, the Terrell Bernards, Josh Allen, Deion Dawkins, like that's their core of players that they're depending on to be the guys that this franchise could depend on, right? And I think the biggest emphasis of the point that you are making is these players are well into their careers now and have been here long enough to be the leaders, right? And I think something Tommy said here I wanted to respond to. Where is it? Okay, so Tommy said you can't stack all young cats on the roster. I think a lot of people think that way when they see the Jordan Phillips of the world coming to the team, when they see the Trey Whites of the world coming back. They think of these guys as you're 30, so you're the old head, you're the vet. You know what I'm saying? But you can be just as much of a veteran if you've been with the team 5-6 years.
That's exactly where I'm going with it.
Right.
And I'm not gonna lie to you. I watched Hard Knocks, the first 2 episodes. It sucked, but
right.
I was happy. I was happy to see Trey back, and that feeds into this conversation with this. Boo, you hear that? I was happy to see Trey back. Enough of that. Anyway, I would be fine letting Harrison with the slow crawl come back, on the roster, not on IR. IR Trey, because what do you really need him for? You need him to be a mentor, right? You need him to be a coach, right? He can do that on IR if he's in the meetings. If he's, he can still be around Max. He can still be around Dorian. He can still be around the guys and not be on the field. You don't really need him on the field right now. That's not what you need. We'll get by with somebody else. We've gotten by with Dane Jackson. Do I want to? No, but we've done it before. We can get by with Dorian Strong. Do I want to? No. We've had Jamarcus Ingram start before. We have options. It doesn't have to be Trey or bust. It doesn't have to be, oh, woe is me, we're done. And I think that's something that the Bills fans need to really think about, because they see Dane Jackson, oh, he's trash. Yeah, okay, he isn't good. We know that. But we know if McDermott doesn't do anything else right, it's make a system for guys that are less than to not look bad.
Right. 2 things I wanted to get to here. Sean says Landon can still develop with Bosa on the team. We aren't a 9-8 team that can just play all young guys and let them get all the reps. We are a Super Bowl contender. Nothing wrong with having Bosa's. Okay. There is something wrong with having Bosa's, and here's where I'm going to start to push some people away. There's only
50 people. Don't do it.
I can only be so clear in saying what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
Yes, you don't have to have all young players playing, but you can still make better decisions than Joey Bosa, right? And think about the money that they paid Joey Bosa right now. Think about the fact that we are minus $30 million in cap space right now with the full 53 on. Now, imagine if we didn't sign Larry Ogunjobi. Imagine if we didn't sign Joey Bosa. Imagine if we didn't sign I'll say it. Imagine if we didn't sign Josh Palmer.
Yeah.
That's $30 million in cap space alone with those 3 guys right there. You already had Curtis Samuel on the books. You can't get rid of him. Nobody will take a trade for him. He's not worth what you would have to pay him to get rid of him, right? So, and that's not disrespecting the player. I'm just talking about his current cap situation, right? So what's the point of me saying all this? Well, the point is, if you are smart about things and you let them play out instead of overreacting, trying to follow your process between free agency and the draft, you would have gotten to a post-draft position where you saw everything that started to develop with Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys. And you would have been well within position money-wise and asset-wise to go and get that player instead of an old, aging, and broken down Joey Bosa, who has not been able to play a full season in a very long time. And these are the kind of moves that we see teams like the Eagles make. These are the kind of moves that we see teams like the young up-and-coming Commanders make, where they went and got Deebo Samuel. For me, it's more about making the smart moves as opposed to making the comfortable moves. And what we've seen the Buffalo Bills do is Sean McDermott likes a certain level of comfort in the players that he coaches. He wants guys that are considered coachable. Well, what's the definition of coachable? Coachable is when, and Sean even said this in his press conference from before the preseason game. He says he doesn't want to deal with guys that have, or I'm sorry, he said it's easier to coach guys when the ego's not in the way, right? The one thing I wanted to get to in the point that you made earlier is these players like Rousseau, these players like Oliver, these players like Terrell Bernard, once you get to that level where you've gotten the bag and you know you're like a cornerstone of the team or whatever the case may be, there's certain things that the coach says that kind of goes over your head, right? When the coach comes up and says to the team in episode 3 of Hard Knocks, I'm not seeing the kind of energy from the guys that I expect to see it from, these cornerstone players are like, yeah, but I'm gonna turn it on when the game game starts.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, I think it would. I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't really process a bunch of Hard Knocks, but I did witness it. But yeah, McDermott did talk a lot about culture and how he talked about throwing a chair through a window and it got people going, and then the chair didn't go through the window, so he's like, I got to be consistent.
Right.
But you're consistently boring.
Right.
You know, it's like I'm watching this over KJ freaking Hamler. Okay, come on now. But I mean, not to bash, because I think I've done a lot of bashing already. But yeah, I did, Laura, unfortunately. But it has to be said. It has to be said. You know, even Tommy said, why is it that we signed him now if he said he would never play for anybody else but Buffalo? You had time.
Right.
Why are you signing him to the roster, then cutting him to sign him to the practice squad? You had time, because he has to be agreeable with it. He has to be somebody that says, you know what, I'm with it. Let's do it. You ain't got to do Reed Ferguson. You ain't got to say wait in parking lot. We're gonna sign you in a day. Right. You ain't got to do that.
Exactly.
You know, and there's so many levers. And I did a 53, and Cotton, you're saying they have 32 million in cap space or negative, because I'm looking at it right now.
Sean is saying that they aren't minus 30 right now.
I'm looking at it. So, okay.
I look, what is this called? Disclaimer. We on this show, we know we do the work. If we say something you don't believe, you go look it up. Like, don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, arguing with us, you know, take a minute, you know, go look it up real quick, then come back. If we're right, we're right. If we're wrong, then, hey, I just looked it up. Can y'all double check on this website? It says such and such and such and such. I have no issue being wrong. I just want to get it right. But at the I think it takes away from the show a bit much if people are arguing from their gut reactions, as opposed to, okay, you heard something that sounds a little off. Let me go do my own research and I'll come back. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Anyway.
And Sally, honestly, I'm hey, call me Peanut, because I don't think that Bosa is a difference maker in that regard. I really don't. Jerry's nuts, but but yeah, no, I like you said, you know, there's levers you could have pulled. There's ways to get around this, and even if, yeah, to a side negative 30, yeah, negative 30.5 according to Spotrac.
Yeah.
Y'all worried about the cap? Tommy, stop it. But anyway, Yeah, if we're not making those, but see, that's my point. It's not about you couldn't do it. The point is, should you have done it, like you said?
Right.
I mean, yeah, you're like, I think it was Spin said, once you cut the 31 people, get down to you're good. But what about the residual? What about the leftover? What about if something happens? Now you got 53 on a roster, but you're at 0. Exactly. Bean said he likes working with 6 to 10 million.
Yep.
Where's that coming from? Because now you got to free up $40 million.
Mm-hmm.
But then Bosa and Ogunjobi, you notice I ain't say Hoyt because I'm not doing that.
No,
I'm not saying that name. But if you don't sign those guys and you trust the guys you draft, of course there's gonna be growing pains. Yeah. But you never know. Landon Jackson is not ready to play right now. But you never know what happens in week 11, 12, 13. Right. You got Epinesa. You know what he is. Epinesa is what you hope you get out of Landon Jackson. I mean, that's really what it is, because Epinesa is a pass rusher. I told you when I watched the what was the first game? The Giants game. I was like, man, 97 got some juice. Wait, that's 57. Never mind. That's Epinesa. I thought it was Bosa. But no, he's got juice out there, and I'm with it.
Dang from Edison says, I got 100. Bosa had more sacks than Oliver.
Oh,
that's supposed to happen anyway.
I wouldn't bet that.
He's a defensive end.
Oliver had 3 last year.
Yeah.
Is he going to have double digits, though? Would you bet it? Well, I'm not betting 100, but would you bet $100 in double digits?
Tommy says, F that cap.
No, it's a New York cap. It's nice. Forget that. I'm not effing any cap.
No,
I'm joking. I know what he means.
Lindsay, what's going on? Says Parsons himself said he would have taken a pay cut to play with JA-17. I mean, that's kind of, look, I don't want to come off as the person that loves pissing on people's cornflake.
I think that's me today somehow.
You know what I'm saying?
My turn.
But there's certain things that need to be realized in order for all of us to make progress. And I think that's what we're all here for on this show anyway, is to try and make progress. There's a clip that I want to play for you guys. I'm gonna have to play it off of my phone.
Okay, while you cue that up, Spin.
Yep.
I'm gonna quote this because I just answered this. I said it. I'm gonna say it again for you real slow. 31 players need to be cut to get to the 53-man roster. They have making close to $1 million for the bottom 31. Hard is that to comprehend? Okay, we're cutting 31 players, but you spent money you didn't have to. So when somebody else gets cut that you want, now you got to cut more people to get under the cap so you can get those people. Right or wrong? What if somebody of higher value gets cut? What if Parsons would have become available? How are you getting them? With what? Tell me. Since that's hard to comprehend, tell me. Put it in the chat. What are you doing to get it? You're restructuring. You're going to move Deion Dawkins. You're going to move this. You're going to move. Yeah, fine. But what if you didn't have to? That's my point.
Yep. All right. So this is a clip from Nick Wright, First Things First, and he's giving you some very basic statistics on Josh Allen and Sean McDermott. Okay. For those of you that have heard it already, bear with me. But here we go.
Have won 6 or more playoff games. Josh Allen's won 7. Here's the full list of them that haven't been to a Super Bowl. Just him. There's been 32 coaches to win 7 or more playoff games. 2 have not been to a Super Bowl. Chuck Knox, Sean McDermott, and that's it. The other 30 all have. And so that is odd company, particularly for Josh. Now, Josh is as safe as a player can get. I don't know that Sean McDermott is. I think Sean McDermott's a good coach. Yeah. But if I were running the Bills and we got just beaten by the Chiefs again this year, I got to change something. I have to.
Okay, so the first part of that point that kind of got cut off, there's 30 quarterbacks that have won 6 playoff games, that have won at least 6 playoff games, and all 30 of them have made the Super Bowl. Josh is the only one that hasn't. Okay, so the reason I'm bringing that up is when you think about what the goal is, and you think about some of the things that the team has done over the last, I'll just say 2 years, right? Because they did something very key that was designed to change the expectation of fans last year, at the beginning of last year. Do you remember when they took the banner down that said championship caliber?
Yeah.
Why do that after you haven't made a Super Bowl? And the closest you got to it at that point was almost 5 years. right? You were closing in on 2025. You're at 2024. You're at the start of 2024, and you change your banner from championship caliber to playoff caliber. Now that's what everybody's pushing. When they were talking their talk back in 2019, I think, or 2018, I think it was, we want to be playoff caliber. They said they were going to do roster surgery. Then they went into the season telling everybody we're going to be playoff caliber, right? That's what they did. They didn't make it that year, but they made it the following year. So from that point, once they got to 2020 and they got to an AFC championship game, that big old championship caliber banner went right up in the field house and stayed there for the next 4 years. Then you go into last year. Oh, no, not championship caliber anymore. Let's come down a notch. Playoff caliber. Right? We expect to be bad. Even though we got Josh Allen, we expect to be bad. And it just so happens the rest of the league expected to be bad too. So you made the AFC championship game again. And instead of going back to championship caliber, you stay at playoff caliber. Why? If back in 2020 it was championship caliber and you had the same amount of core players that were all under the age of 25 at that point too. Deion Dawkins, Josh Allen. I think Tremaine Edmonds was under 25, right? Was that Greg Rousseau's first year? I think that was Greg Rousseau's first year, 2021. Yeah. That was Greg Rousseau's first year, right? That's the first year they started chirping about championship calibers, 2021.
Right. Yeah, so I think to the point to his side, who cares about the banner? Trust me, it wasn't changed because of the fans. No, I agree with you because I couldn't care less about the banner, not because of your point, because I think this is where I take your point even further. Why was it such a big deal? Why did everybody talk about this banner? Why was it all over the media? Why were we getting all the praise for the Bills of the Super Bowl championship banner when, like you said, we hadn't been there before? So too, I think I'm with you because neither one of us here in the studio cares about the banner, but we care about why the change after they fell through.
Well, right. And this is why you should care about the banner. This is why you should, because I'm not asking you to care about the piece of paper that the graphics were written on. That's not the point. It's a representation of how the Bills have operated one specific way and doing things that don't lead you in that direction. And then once they get to a point where they've kind of had this expectation that they haven't met for a long period of time, they start to take a look at themselves and say, hey, people are starting to say we haven't gotten there and we should have gotten there by now. Maybe we should dial back our own expectations in the building publicly, because you don't know. We don't know. They might be sitting in these locker rooms saying we are championship caliber, but we're just saying playoff caliber for the younger players. We don't know that. But the bottom line is this team has done so many things that contradict what it takes to actually win in the NFL. You've got to make smart decisions with the cap. You've got to make smart decisions with the roster. And I get that there are not guaranteed things in life. But when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen, there's one thing that is guaranteed, and that is you are going to make the playoffs.
And the funny thing you say, I double down because I think I know you don't agree with me completely with it, but that's one of the reasons why I couldn't care less about the ones playing in the playoffs in the preseason. Because I'm like you said about the young boys that get paid and they can turn it on.
Yeah.
Offense turns it on. I'm not worried about Cook. I'm not worried about the offensive line. I'm not worried about Palmer. I'm not worried about Ken. I ain't worried about none. I ain't worried about Kincaid either.
Yeah.
Because that offense is gonna be there.
Yeah.
Yes. Another positive nugget. But it's just frustrating to me. Like it's so frustrating. Who cares about the cap? But the thing is the flexibility that you could have if you would have waited just a little bit of time. Because Bosa wanted a certain amount of money. Maybe you would have got him cheaper. I mean, yeah, maybe $2 million doesn't matter to you or me, but maybe you could have got somebody else that wasn't Ogunjobi. Maybe Jordan Phillips would have been a little more digestible had you not had Ogunjobi. But now you got a large albatross of a contract for a guy that's not even going to play but 12 games or 11 games, if that. So I mein, it's not that I'm bagging on people. It's just my mind is like, what could we have done with that money?
Exactly.
That's where I'm with it. And people they go in the comments and they hear one thing and they don't understand where I'm coming from. It's like yeah, F that contract. It's not our money, blah, 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 but it is kind of our money because you got to sit here and watch other teams do stuff.
Yes.
And then the first thing they're going to say is, well, why didn't we do that? How could you? Well, we could have made a way. How? 2 years ago, we screwed the contract, the cap for this year because we restructured everybody. There's nobody left. I already told you guys, you could restructure Josh, you could restructure Deion and Sean. I just said, if somebody pops up, you have flexibility. You got to pay attention to what I'm saying here because you're talking without listening to me right now. But my thing is, if Bean preaches, I always want to have my ear to the phone. I want to see what's available, what's free. What I can do. You can't do anything now, even if something does come available. And that's the thing that bothers me. I don't want to be counted out of the game before we even play it.
Right. And I think that's so. To be clear, yes, I was frustrated that we didn't play any of our starters in the preseason, but here's my logic for that. Because it's not necessarily like disagreeing with you, like not caring. It's I've seen another team in the AFC not do it for 3 or 4 years, and it bit them in the behind every time they didn't. And that's the Cincinnati Bengals. People bagged on them year after year for starting the season off slow, knowing how much talent that team has, right? And here we are with a team that has made 2 AFC championship games in a span of 5 years, and we start off fast and then we struggle a little bit, right around week 5, 6, we always struggle, and then from that point on, we get some sort of rejuvenation and do well the rest of the season. And that's cool because we ride that wave into the playoffs, and we're so hyped because we look good. We're on a streak, and we're taking all that heat into the playoffs, but it fizzles out as soon as we play a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, right? And so for me, I think it comes down to something that Steve said a second ago here. It says, where is it? Oh, here it is. You have to be able to play man against elite wide receivers in the playoffs. Benford is not that dude, and Trey was never, ever that dude. 2 zone cornerbacks ain't it. And without Hyde and Poyer, this fan base will see it.
They should have already seen it.
Right, exactly. Without those 2 safeties, we should have already seen that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you think of when you think of good defenses in the league, right? Houston Texans had the most sacks last season, right? Chiefs have consistently had a good defense. Browns consistently had a good defense, right? Do you know who the corners are? The number 1 corner, I should say. Do you know who the number 1 corner is on those teams?
Okay. So you said, okay.
Houston?
So Houston, that is Stingley.
Okay. Browns.
They still got Ward?
Denzel Ward.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Chiefs, their best corner.
McDuffie.
Trent McDuffie.
Okay.
Right. Now, are any of those guys considered one or the other zone or man type of guy? No. Usually, a top 10 corner in the league can do both things extremely well, which is what makes him a justifiable top 10 corner in the league. The top 5 are just better than everybody else at doing both and do not get put in positions because of the way they study the game, because of their athleticism, because of their speed, because of all the work that they put into it. They don't get beat very often. They don't get targeted very often. Okay. There's a very specific reason why Christian Benford is not out here playing man. We've seen what it looks like. It's not good. Unless he's playing bail and giving the wide receiver that he's going up against a good 5 to 7 yard cushion, he's not going to be able to stay with the guy right off the line. He can't play press. He can't even play mirror match. It's got to be bail technique no matter what. His athleticism doesn't allow for him to cover man coverage to that degree. Now, this is not me bagging on Benford. This is me talking about the things that he's not the best at. This is me talking about the things that he needs the assistance of the scheme for, right? So for anybody listening to what I just said and say, oh, you hating on Benford, you being negative, blah, 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 miss me with that. Thank you, Carl. We'll get to that in 1 second. Give me 1 second. So again, when it comes to these types of players, you got to take it back to something that Sean McDermott has been consistent in saying is or I'm sorry, something that he said in his press conference, which is attitude over ability. Christian Benford's demeanor, how he is in the locker room, very respectable. Great dude. Almost never says a word. Bobby Babich is talking about how he's starting to, be vocal behind the scenes, like talking to the guys and stuff like that. Great. Right? But if this is the guy that's leading your team and he's got deficiencies on the field and the rest of his teammates have to go out there and watch him perform the way that he's performing, knowing he's not going to be able to cover that receiver. He going to need help. They're going to have to scheme this up. Like, if the other players on the team know this about you, how can they ever look up to you as being the guy that's going to help them solve their problems? You're not elite. Right. How they going to look at Rousseau as, yeah, this the dude I'm supposed to be taking pass rush advice from?
Yeah.
You're not elite.
Yeah, he's elite. He's elite run stuffer.
Right.
Pass rush, no.
If I was a prototypical left end, that's Rousseau,
it.
right? Rousseau, right? Yep. That's the guy I want to go talk to because that he's elite at.
Yep.
Right? I want to go talk to him for that. And this is the mindset that players have. I don't want to sit here and listen to somebody that's been at B level their whole life come and tell me how to be elite. I don't want somebody that's been at C level their whole life. I don't want to listen to Sean McDermott that's been an elite wrestler but never an elite coach in the NFL come and tell me how to be elite. It don't work that way. I'll sit and listen to Andy Reid all day long. Why? Because he's always been an elite offensive mind the entire time that I've seen him in the league. Nobody can argue that. I'll go listen to Bill Belichick tell me about defense all day long. All day long. Right? If I want to get advice from a young up and coming offensive mind, I'll go talk to Joe Brady. I'll go talk to Ben Johnson. I mean, if you really want to get to the bottom of the barrel of the offensive minds, go talk to Shane Steichen. You know what I'm saying? There's examples of guys everywhere that are at their certain tiers. And I think Bills fans have to start being a little more realistic about the players that we have in this building. And it's not to say that we don't have good players, but they all look a little bit better around Josh Allen than they really are. That's the bottom line. If you can't admit that, I don't know what you're watching.
Yeah, I think Tommy kind of, Carl, we got you. Trust me. I think Tommy said right there, and this is kind of where I'm going with it. It's being at times tends to jump the gun on players like Bosa when it wasn't needed, especially at the price tag. Now, see, that's the thing. I know we have to fill a 90-man roster. I get that. I know we have to 91 because we have Travis Clayton. But the thing is, most of the guys you got, you're not going to keep anyway. And if Bosa's a really big need, you might need to get that after you see what you got. You might need to get the Ogunjobi after you see what you got. You're like, oh, we can't try this out on the field. Deion Walker's not ready. He's not ready. Oh, no, Ed Oliver. No, we can't do that. So let's now go get an Ogunjobi or Jordan Phillips or something like that because Phillips is out there. He was your ace in the back. That's why Ogunjobi makes zero sense because Jordan Phillips said, I will be back. I'll sit here and wait until I'm coming back.
Right.
So they handled that. Okay. They handled that well.
So tell me if I'm right or wrong. To your point, the Ogunjobi thing is really, it's more, and this is the same with Daquan Jones and some of these other vets. If you cut them, it's a dead cap hit. If you never signed Ogunjobi and you just signed Jordan Phillips, no dead cap hit, right?
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. And I think that's the thing. Like, I think what it is how I say things. People are like, oh, no, it's not that. It's not that. You got to remember, it's not hate. You can take it as hate if you want, but it's not. Because I'm going to rejoice. And the reason why I sit here and talk the way I do is because I'm very passionate about what I see. And a lot of things that they do, even TJ Sanders, even Deion Walker, Deion Walker, you probably had to trade up 23 spots to get him. But TJ Sanders would probably have been there at your pick or maybe a little later in the second round.
Yeah.
But otherwise, even if you didn't get him, you had some other guys that did the exact same thing, which is cool. That you brought in and you were familiarized with. So it's like you don't have to keep jumping the gun because of this certain person, because if it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. And I'm saying you sit back and be casual and just be passive and like, oh, God's way. No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is if you do your research and you see where things are slotted, Deion Walker was a third round pick. So I get that one. They're like, how the hell is he still here? Grab him. But TJ Sanders, he was later in the round. He was there actually was a player or two before him at the same position, when we drafted him. So it's like, okay, all right, they really liked him, but you could have waited.
Right.
Landon Jackson. People were talking about Dwayne Carter. Oh, they're going up one side of being and down the other side for the Dwayne Carter 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
They killing him for that because I'm not, because I already did that when they drafted him. I saw that, and it's not Dwayne Carter. It's just the expectation we had for this dude was way more, far exceeded what he actually could do on the field. You could look at his Duke tape and see that.
Yeah.
He was never a pass rusher. He was undersized always.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm sitting here and telling you, just wait, hold on. I mean, Michael Hoyt, what I see, if people really know, yeah, okay. But Bosa, injury prone, wanted too much money. Hold off. If you get your feelers out there, okay, let us know what you hear. Let us know what they're offering, and we'll try to work some. Overdorf and Bean have this relationship with all these agents. Why not?
Yeah.
And Trey White and Dane Jackson, one or the other. What'd you need both of them for? You had to Corey Couch. You had all these young guys. You really got to give them time, and that bothers me a little bit because now we know Daquan Hardy's not good. We know whoever else back there isn't good, but when you got Trey White and Dane Jackson played 3 quarters on Saturday? He played what?
Yeah, no, he played all 4.
Did he play all 4?
Yeah.
Sign him up. Right. Put him on the field.
So that's kind of an interesting dilemma. And what's going on, Bev?
So we go to Carlson now.
Yes. Well, I mean, you pretty much covered Ogunjobi and Carter just now, right? I thought that's why you were doing it.
No, I didn't even. Let me see what it said. Just sign into it until it's good. You pause. Okay. Carol, you tell me if that satisfies your question, because I didn't read first. I just went on a tangent. So if you need more, let me know.
Without even knowing you was answering.
Right.
I'm like, I didn't hear him read the question out, but he's saying the answer right now. Okay. Cool. Yeah, but I mean, look, I never liked the Larry Ogunjobi move from the very beginning. First and foremost, if he was good in the run game the way he needed to be, the way we would want him to be here, the Steelers would have never let him go because they have an aging defensive line too. They need defensive line help, right? But they chose to get rid of this guy to do what? To go younger, right? So however this serves the purposes of Sean McDermott, I think we can all agree it's not, how can I say this? Because everything kind of deals with football, but I guess in a sense, it's not football related from the standpoint of what the effect it has on the field, right? Because bringing a guy like this in who's been around a few good teams, not the Browns where he was drafted, but he's been on the Steelers. He's been around good coaching. He's been around guys that Sean McDermott trusts their coaching. Sean and Mike Tomlin's relationship. Mm-hmm. So. This is a guy you bring in and he'll be a locker room guy, a veteran that you can trust in the locker room to help the younger guys. It's a culture move. I mean, again, if you know ball, then Larry Ogunjobi is not coming on the field getting 10 sacks and stopping 50 run plays for you. That. It's not. Right? Yep. As far as Dwayne Carter is concerned, I like the guy. I met him. He seems like a really good dude.
I want to meet him. I like him. I really do.
He's funny.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can tell.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I don't think this team was ever a fit for him for any other reason other than his character and his lore at Duke.
His leadership ability, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. That's what got him drafted here. Mm-hmm. But I think his fit on another team probably would have been a little bit better. Maybe the scheme they ran allowed him to slim down and play quicker or something like that and be a quasi pass rusher, But again, all of that is kind of besides the point.
Wherever Puna Ford went, go there.
Exactly.
Wherever he went, do there. And do what they told him to do.
DJ says, "Stop effing hating." I get it. That's how you feel. I understand it.
Yeah, I'm trying to toe the line because I have something to say. Not like right
Let's
now.
Say
but, no, not like a certain thing. But I have a message I'm trying to relay, but I'm not trying to bag on anybody. That's what I'm getting at.
Do what you want, man.
Well, no, I've said what I wanted to say for the most part, but
okay.
I'm just saying I'm not trying to zero in on one person. I think people are thinking I'm zeroing in on one person or just certain negativity, which I'm not. I would too if I needed to, but
oh snap! Videsh says Dana's hurt.
Well, there's that.
I mean, that's okay. So back to what I wanted to touch on real quick is this scenario around Trey White and this lower leg injury, right? Mm-hmm. the necessity for taking as long as they're taking in reporting the injury. I was talking with Damaris earlier today, Damaris Johnson, Buffalo Bills alumni. The idea of taking this long to report the injury is really more self-serving than anything else. It's based on what he said. It's leverage based, right? And when you think about the position that the Bills are in, let's just say Dane Jackson was healthy, right? The way that they've played this kid in the preseason, all these games, is as if he's not going to make the team. Like you don't just play a guy, majority of every preseason game if he's going to be expected to get some burn during the regular season due to your injuries, right? Now, the Bills knew about the Trey White injury before this third preseason game. Mm-hmm. So if you knew that Dane Jackson was going to be your guy, my dog, back off the line. You're not playing no more in this game. Right. Second quarter, you out of here. We need you for week 1, right? That should have been the move at that point if Dane Jackson was for sure the answer at CB2 until the other two guys can get back, right? Now, to this point, we still don't know what the diagnosis on Trey White is. The Bills know, right? They had to have known at least 3, because I think it usually takes a day for any knee swelling or any swelling in general to go down before they can do the X-rays and whatever they need to do to get an inside look and see what's going on, right? So what does all this mean? Well, what it means is the Bills are in a position to have to decide: are we going to let Dorian Strong play, or are we going to let Dane Jackson play? If we let Dane Jackson play, that creates a cap issue for us, because he's getting paid more than Dorian Strong is right now. Right. And on top of that, that's an extra position that you got to hold on to for a guy that's coming in to help you during a time of your top 2 guys at that particular position being hurt. And if you do that, what position are you taking away from just to keep this guy here when, for all intents and purposes, it seems as though you didn't plan on keeping him? Right. So this is kind of the tricky part that I think the Bills are trying to navigate here, because to kind of come out and say what the injury is for Trey White, that's going to tell you whether or not Dane Jackson's going to be the guy. Right. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm Dane Jackson, you better fully guarantee the rest of my contract if I'm coming in and I got to cover these 2 guys. Not saying Dane Jackson would ever do that, but I think at this point we're still trying to figure out what kind of leverage they're trying to hold by withholding this information, because it damn sure can't be we don't want the Ravens knowing what's going on with them.
Yeah, the way I look at it is this, and being somebody that's had injuries, and I'm not talking about little injuries, I'm talking about big injuries. You can only hide so much. We're waiting for the swelling to go down for MRIs. I think the thigh doctor said, I told him, I said, you know what, I'm going to lean on you for your knowledge because you have experience with this stuff. He said, don't lean on me. I said, hey man, you're better than me. He said, well, lean on. I said, all right, cool. But I think at the end of the day it's just the fact that, yes, we're waiting for swelling to go down, but if it's an MRI and we're waiting for swelling, that means it's more serious than what you would think. Mm-hmm. Lower leg obviously is an ankle, but I just don't understand why they didn't give Ingram more burn. They didn't give, and
these are guys that have been in games already.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing that gets on me. Thanks, SDB. I just saw he said, "Speak your mind." I try to, and the thing is, I want people to engage with the show and all that stuff, and I don't want to create an environment where it's just negative, but I want it to be real. So I want it to be really real, and I don't want to be piling on. I'm sure there's going to be positivity that people are like, "You're being anti-positive, you're wrong," whatever.
Well, I mean, so Sean is saying like realistically,
sure.
We can't have 53 elite players,
and that's 100% right.
Right, but let's take a second to take a step back and think about the Eagles roster for a second, right? Because people look at that team, and I said the same thing. Like when you look at some of their positions, like before they got Saquon Barkley, they had who at running back? You know what I'm saying? And for them, it didn't really matter because they were throwing the ball all over the yard to AJ Brown for fresh off the trade.
Right.
So, then they get Saquon Barkley. They got this amazing offensive line for him to run behind. what don't they have on offense?
Right.
Oh, their tight end isn't that great, right? But their tight end is still Dallas Goedert. And Dallas Goedert was the guy that they had after who? Zach Ertz, who used to tear up the league back when he was in his prime, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's my point? My point is you actually can have a team full of really, really good players, some older and aging and on the decline, and then you got the younger guys that are coming in on the incline. And then with those two, extremes, I guess, of guys that are not necessarily elite but not bad, then you have the crop in the middle of the entire offensive line is amazing. The quarterback is really good. The wide receivers are really good. Your pass rushers on the defensive line are really good. You know what I'm saying? Like your corners, your two corners, the rookie dudes, you just like they're making play. Like all of these things kind of work as a convergence of good talent.
Right.
And that's what I'm talking about. If you need I'll give you two prime examples of guys that I would have taken this year alone that I think could have easily changed everything for us. I basically already said one of them, which is Micah Parsons. I would have done that over all the free agency moves we made this year. Right? Period. Just get me to the draft. Never mind any of these guys. I don't need them. I'm depending on Keon Coleman to grow. That was my investment from last year. It's the highest investment I ever made at wide receiver. Let's see what he can do. You still got Curtis Samuel on the books. He was hurt last year. Let's get him in there and see what he can do. We didn't need Josh Palmer. We didn't need him. Curtis Samuel put up 1,000 yards on his own, running deep routes inside and outside for the Carolina Panthers under Joe Brady. The only time he's had 1,000 yards was with Joe Brady. Give that man a chance to play, right? But the other guy, I would have drafted Will Johnson, whether it was the second round or the first round. For those of you that love TJ Sanders, fine. Let's get rid of Max Hairston. I would have drafted Will Johnson in the first round at 30. For those of you that don't like Max Hairston, fine. Get rid of TJ Sanders. We still could have had two corners in the first and second round.
I would have liked that. I would like having two corners.
Exactly.
I really did.
It's not the first time in NFL history that two players have been drafted back to back. We drafted Greg Rousseau and Boogie Basham back to back.
Wait, who won the Super Bowl last year?
The Eagles.
What did they draft?
Corner and corner. It's been done before.
But no, and that's true. Like the thing was, it's not a max. It's not because I saw people on Twitter. Well, because I sent it in the Discord about Trey Amos, how he's a starter in Washington and set in third, and I sent in Discord. And it's not about Hairston being hurt. And I said this on the Discord. I replied to the tweet and I said, "You're right. It's not about Hairston being hurt. It's about the fact that he was already listed as a backup when he was healthy.
Exactly.
He was a backup when he was on. If you look at the depth chart, he was never the starter.
Right.
Like we want him to be, you want him to be, and somebody in here, I think Cotton just said, if he goes on PUP, I'm going to lose my mind. Well, you better put an air tag on it because you want need to find it.
Right. That's it.
But and the thing is, this is the slippery slope. Sean, he said, what did he say? He said, can we explain what we would? It's up there. Somewhere.
Oh, here I'll go.
Yeah.
You talking about when he said, can y'all explain what y'all would have done instead of?
It was he said.
Oh, hold on. I think it right here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is what you do. And Sean, I hope you're still here.
I think he is.
I hope so, because I'm going to address it. And this is honest to God what I would do. I identify my cornerstone players. My cornerstone players are Rousseau, Benford, Rapp, evidently, Bernard, Oliver on defense. And the offense, you know who they are. Mm-hmm. Now, you got to identify who your backups are. Then you identify who your developmental players are. After that, now you got to see what your need is. Now, do I need Ogunjobi? Do I need Bosa? How much am I willing to pay Bosa? If I'm looking at Bosa, he hasn't played more than 50% of snaps since 2021, right? He's going to be in a rotation in Buffalo. Is that $12 million to a team that has no money? I know Salah's like dying on the hill that Bosa's elite. Fine. He might be, but he's never going to get a chance to play like he's elite. Von Miller was a better defensive end than Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
Almost our camera. Uh-oh. Can they hear us?
Oh, snap. What?
Ah, there we go.
Oh, he faded you out.
I got white. Dang, I got phased out like that.
Buttons. You fell asleep, son?
Oh, my bad.
No. Okay. You good?
As long as it's you, I'm good.
My finger hit the black out button by
No, as long as it's you. I was like, oh, God. Just taking us back. Everybody calling us Timu again.
No actual lights in here went out.
This is not Timu
Nah,
coordinator.
you're good.
Okay. But no, I Von Miller was a better defensive end than Joey Bosa, and we didn't use him.
Right.
We stored him, we stashed him, we bubble wrapped him, like they say, for Joey Bosa for whatever the price was. Joey Bosa's a 1-year deal. After $12 million, he's going to go away, and then what do you have to show for it? And I think that's my issue. And for Sean, yeah, I like I said, I would bring in those lower cost guys that are gonna bring up the rear of the roster. You got to find out what your deficiencies are. You don't just keep stacking on money on positions that you're not deficient in. You just re-signed Rousseau. You got Hoyt. You got Epinesa. You got Solomon. You got all these guys here on the defensive line, but you double down and pay $12 million again.
Yeah.
And Sean, I think that's what I'm getting at. I know we're not battling. Trust me, me and you are not battling.
Yeah,
but
right.
This is like my thought process. I just want.
We're used to being questioned like that.
No, Sean, I know, but it's not. Trust me, anytime. But it's just in my mind at this point in the game when you have these contracts that you have that are on multi-years, that's your core. We're not trying to replace them. When you have Deion Dawkins and stuff like that, you're thinking about Tylan Grable, who should eventually take that spot because he's older. But I have an issue with bringing in older guys and paying them premium money. And $12 million for Bosa playing 48, 50%. People laid an egg when James Cook ran. What do you have? 50% snap count in his career, and they're like, he's not worth. He doesn't play. We're paying Joey Bosa. $12 million. You need sacks,
right?
That's what you need from him, and he's not a guy that's really going to give them to you because he's a collapser. He's he's an elite Landon Jackson at this point in time.
Or I would even say a more elite Greg Rousseau. Like I kind of lump him in with that type.
And that's even more to my point. You got Greg Rousseau, and they're the same guy,
right?
So in essence, you're paying $30+ million for the same dude.
Billy D says, do we trade for the safety from New England? Wait, before we get to that though, this comment here. Tuasai says, too bad the sound didn't go out instead of the camera.
Dang, we'll work on it. Yeah, we'll work on that.
Let's read that again. Too bad the sound didn't go out instead of the camera. Ha 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 ha.
You got jokes now, huh, sir?
But yeah,
you got jokes.
But yeah,
you got jokes.
He's still here, and we're an hour and 2 minutes in.
Yeah, I'm sorry we're not saying stuff you love right this very
Tell
second.
Us, next time, mail us what you want us to say, and we won't say it.
You can leave. Honestly, no, forget all that.
No, we're not kicking nobody out. I
mean, we're not doing that.
At the end of the day, you don't like it? No. We did it. We got 100 live viewers in the house.
Whoa!
Let's go.
Before Tua leaves. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! All right, that we've been trying to do that for how long now?
Forever. We're at 98. I'm like, we got 5 more minutes. We'll be late. I don't care. Let's do it.
Oh my gosh! All right, so Billy D, to your question, do we trade for the safety from New England?
Who's that, Duggar?
Yeah, Kyle Duggar. No. Look, Bobby Babbitt said something that troubled me greatly when it comes to Taylor Rapp, and I think Kyle Duggar is probably a bigger, stronger, better version of Taylor Rapp.
Oh my God, why do we keep doing this?
And we just lost 5 viewers live. No, I'm kidding. So look, Kyle Duggar is a box safety. Mm-hmm. We know this. And what he thrived in was being that kind of fifth linebacker in the Patriots defense, right? Because that odd front, they run 4 linebackers. And Duggar would kind of come down and if they needed to play, cover 3 or something like that, he would be the guy to come down in that zone, or he would just be run support in the box. His skill set does not allow him to be very good in deep zone coverage.
Yes, that's what you need more. That's why I want Hancock back there. But I think that's where, and Tommy said on his show, I said on our show, I was actually quoted on Tommy's show for the first time. So yay!
All right, okay.
But no, I think like the jazz metaphor I use. If Hancock and Rapp had a chance to play together and get that rapport down, I think those are your 2 safeties. I'd be fine with Rapp and Hancock, because Hancock covers what Rapp can't do, and I need somebody that'll do that.
Oh, to a side, you going with that? Like that's literally every Bills rah-rah type of fan. Like he says, actually, I would like for once to admit they aren't as smart as the 32 GMs and coaches that are currently that are currently employed by the NFL.
You mean we're not sitting in one Bills drive right now?
I thought we were. I mean, we got the logo up on the wall here and some lights and stuff. I mean, there's plenty of Bills stuff on this table.
Dude got the logo of the Bills on his chest, but the Dolphins logo on his head, so he's just as confused as I am about not being at one Bills drive. Oh my God.
Look, here's what allows anybody who watches football to make a clear and rational assessment of what they're seeing. Because the first thing that any GM or head coach would love to tell a person who's not employed in the NFL is they're not employed in the NFL. They love saying that stuff. Why? Because to them, that's the ultimate qualifier of somebody who is qualified to judge what they're doing.
You know what I'd say?
What's that?
You don't have a podcast and talk about your raggedy ass. Top that.
But here's the deal. There are plenty of examples of what works in the NFL. There are also plenty of examples of what doesn't work in the NFL, right? Now, here's the crazy part about all this. If the Bills were a 3-14 team last year instead of a 13-4 team last year, I think everybody would be on our side and all of our criticisms about the Bills and the moves that they made and stuff like that. The issue here for people who don't like hearing what we say the way we say it is they look at a 13-4 team that went to the AFC championship game and they think good team. They know what they're doing. They got there, right? But they don't really understand how the Bills got there. They don't do the analysis. They don't do the film study. They don't do the work necessary to figure out what the Bills actually did to get there. All they think about is we got there. We're good. Again, go back to 2 episodes ago when I was talking about how Bills fans tend to oversimplify things. They look at record. They look at regular season record. They look at AFC East dominance over the last 6 years, and they equate that to you can't say anything because we're a good team. You only say good things about a good team. Has anybody listened to Eagles radio anytime recently? Because just last year, on their way to a Super Bowl, they were ready to fire their head coach. They were ready to trade away their best receiver. They were ready to do that on their way to a Super Bowl, having been to a Super Bowl 2 years prior. Right?
Expectations.
Exactly. And that's the disconnect between where we are and where people like Tuaside are. Not that we have to be at war on this. Right. We can just hear each other's thoughts and be open-minded to everything that we're saying and really give it some thought and do our own research to reach our own conclusions. Or we can say, well, I'm just going to listen to what the GMs tell me. I'm just going to listen to what the head coaches tell me because I don't actually want to have to do my own work. I just want to trust somebody else to do the work for me.
I just want to cheer for the team that I'm cheering for. Whatever they put on the field, I'm cheering for. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I've been there, and had this team been bad, I don't think this podcast would work because I'd be happy just to have a team. I'm like, yeah, we have
the Bills are still here,
dude. That was the most fun I ever had. Pitching them, no stress. We're gonna get lambasted. I don't care. Cool. Pass me another beer.
Suck. You can't hurt my feelings.
Right. I'm going to the liquor store getting my bottle before I go jump to crack it up. Yeah. I watched my man take it on my man's birthday. He took his shot in the line waiting to get in there. They were pouring liquor in his mouth. Like, yeah, we were going to lose. I don't even know what game it was, but we were going to lose. It might have been that, you know what a game? I know what game it was. You know what one it was? It was that Brown 63 game. It was that game. Oh, I was there. I was there.
Oh, God.
Cheering. Yeah. I was there. I was that guy. But now that we have these things, now that we have no money, which shows you that we have a team of players. We have things we have to pay for. We have a stadium coming. We got heightened expectations. We're in the national media. Now let's dissect why we can't get over the hump. Let's do that. Because for everybody that loves Bean, everybody loves McDermott, everybody loves, and that's fine. I don't care if you do or not. Mm-hmm. But my point is, ask them, the ones that say we don't have credentials to be a GM, why they can't get us over the hump. Ask them why they can't figure it out. Ask them, the professionals, that all they do is eat, sleep, breathe, and defecate football, can't figure this out. While they're watching other teams, the Lions, watching other teams, Eagles, Bengals, usurp them, even for a year. We see it all the time. Worst to first, bad to good, just like that. And we're teetering on that same line over and over and over again. But in Bean, we trust. And McDermott, we trust. But we can't say nothing about it. That's my thing. I'm just as much a fan as you guys are. I don't care what level you are. I love T just got on my she what did she say to me last night? She said, oh, she said, because I was being critical of her, and I was like, she's like, man, just shut up. She's like, you all over this team. You watch them all the time, you read them all the time, you play them all the time, you think about them all the time. This is my girlfriend that said that. So if you're telling me I'm being a BS fan, challenge her. I dare. Hey, should they challenge her?
No. No.
Okay then.
God, nobody should ever challenge T ever.
No.
Challenge her.
No, I am scared of her.
She's terrifying.
I mean, but that's the thing, you know, like I don't care if you like Bean. I don't care if you like McDermott. I don't care if you like Devin Singletary. Tommy, I know that was 2 out of 3. I wasn't going at you, but it happened. My point is that's fine. I'm not saying you're a dummy for liking who you like.
Right.
But don't tell me I'm an idiot for saying what I'm saying because of the research I've read, I've come up with.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the levels of fandom that we have to transcend. I respect you, respect me. We all love the same team, or I wouldn't be sitting here wasting time. You know how much research goes into the show for me?
One of these days, you're going to have to we got to create
Just
a
live
website.
stream it?
Well, yeah, live stream all the work you're doing, or either that or just record it, and we'll just do one of those fast videos of like you doing all this. Yeah.
Every show is like 8 pages of notes.
That's
for me.
crazy.
Every show is like 8 pages of notes, whether it's stats, whether it's this. I got tabs and tabs and tabs, and you're telling me I don't do the research? You might not like what I come up with, but I do the research for you guys. Do you get paid?
No, we don't get paid.
But I do this. I work 2 jobs. Do I sleep? No,
not at all.
But I show up every time I come. I show up for you guys. So I mean, that's what it is.
Yep. So Lindsay's and she says any word on Hancock's shoulder injury status? No, yeah, I mean it's mostly a bruise. I mean there's no structural damage. Otherwise they would have had to have reported that by now. So it's really just getting ready for the season. You know what? Unfortunately, I think they're gonna give it to Cole Bishop, and if he falters or if he's getting killed or something like that, they'll probably put Jordan Hancock in halfway through the season.
And that's bull jive.
I agree. I agree.
Jive.
If we're going based on what the players have shown in a what have you done for me lately kind of thing, then it's easily Jordan Hancock by a mile, right? Because Cole Bishop was hurt last year. He's hurt again this year. Yeah, he made, and this is the part that kills me. I've only watched the preseason game once, right? The last one. I know you've probably watched it 5 times already.
Just 3.
Just 3. Okay, just 3.
It was tough, but I did it.
Very humble, just 3. But the 2 plays that Cole Bishop made, the way they talk about these plays were like, you know, confirmations of how good of a player he is. Please, what did you see on those plays? Because I didn't see very much. I mean, the one play where he made the tackle, or you know, as the receiver's trying to catch the ball and knocks it out, or however that happened, like that wasn't him consciously trying to knock the ball out. That was him going and making the tackle after the receiver catches the ball, which is pretty much what they're taught in this defense.
I mean, you called it out. You said in Discord, you said that tells you all you need to know about his coverability. He went for the body and not the ball.
Yep.
I mean that, but see, that's why I say it's bull jive, because we know Taylor Rapp is starting, and you're going to put the guy next to him that has supposed to do what Taylor Rapp can't do, but you know Bishop can't do it. His scouting report out of Utah said he can't cover deep, so why make him do it? He was a tight end cover guy. Rapp's supposed to do that, right? So what are we doing? Are you guys going to line up so deep that nothing gets behind you? No, it's not feasible. It's not. They're not athletic enough to cover that kind of ground if you line them up that far back.
Right.
And that's the problem. Both of them, when they turn their hips, they're lost.
Yep. Sean says
exactly. That's it.
Yeah. So, and I think a good you know case to look at is just for those of you who want to do some homework, right? And you know we've talked about this before on the show. Laura, I know you'd probably be willing to do some homework. Right. There's a few people in here that'd be willing to do the homework, but go and look at the players that Sean McDermott has had his entire tenure in Carolina, and then come and look at compare those players to the players that the Bills have had. Look at what they've done statistically. Look at their overall ranking when they were drafted and brought in. And I guarantee what you'll find is the players that were drafted and signed and sought after by Carolina were of a higher caliber, were of a higher tier in both draft and free agent status when Carolina went and got these guys. The only guys that I think would be comparable were the two safeties that they brought in when they when they signed these guys, because they were two veteran guys that were not known as coverage guys. I talked about this earlier in the offseason about Sean's experience in having two safeties that are not known as good cover guys, right? But the one thing that they did have around these two safeties that were not good cover guys is two pretty damn good corners in Josh Norman and I forget the other guy's name. And then they had two elite linebackers in Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis in front of them, right? Defensive line, really not a bunch of stalwarts. Kawan Short was their best, defensive line player at that point in time. More of a pass rushing defensive tackle than anything else. But they had Kawan Short and a bunch of like B+ A- guys on the defensive line. So you combine that with Hall of Famer middle linebacker and at the very least, all pro level linebacker in Thomas Davis and
Bradbury. Somebody said Bradbury.
James Bradbury. Thank you. So you got Bradbury on one side and Josh Norman on the other. And all of these guys are good enough to protect two box safeties, so to speak, who are just, playing split coverage the whole season.
Yep.
So again, go do the research, compare those players, and then you come back and tell me what you see when we come back here on Friday. Let's talk about it.
Cato, I don't think Sean McDermott had Pepper. Did he? Didn't we?
No, he didn't have Pepper.
He didn't have Pepper. No. That's what I thought. And let's see. Yeah, no, somebody said it's not realistic to have 11 elite players on both sides of the ball. Didn't I just say that's not what I was expecting at all? But
I think Sal came in a little late, though.
Okay, but it's funny because, somebody else said, ask Philly that.
Yeah.
Philly about that.
Right.
And see, that's the thing. And if you have difference makers to that degree, even non-elite players are going to look like they're better than. And that's what you see, in championship caliber teams. You say what you want about Mahomes, but even though his numbers dip, he's still Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Kelce's getting old. He's dating Taylor Swift, but he's still Travis Kelce. Even though he's got the weird hair, doing the mustache, it doesn't connect anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where we're aiming to get to. We're aiming to get to a place where we have people that make other people better in on the defensive side as well. And we're dividing ourselves amongst the Bills fans base with regards to the Bosa's, with Christian Benford's, with how good Taylor Rapp is, how good Ed Oliver is. What do they mean to the defense? When you still are looking for that person that makes the difference for the other 10 people on the field for him.
Thank you. Because so I was looking at Cato's comment right when you said that. It was like perfect timing, because he says the Panthers was a bad team that grew. What made them good?
Continuity.
There was one player that made them good instantly.
Oh, you talking about Kuechly?
No, I'm talking about Cam Newton.
Oh, the offense.
Because Kuechly was there like 2 or 3 seasons before Cam got there, right? Everybody knew he was a good player before Cam got there. So Kuechly's there. They're building this young up-and-coming defense, right? Josh Norman's already there. Cam steps in. They go 15-2. Like, immediately. Immediately, right? And Cam did it with who? He did it with Kelvin Benjamin and Devin Funchess.
Funchess, yep.
Somebody please go look up those names and tell me what they did in the NFL.
Nothing.
Right.
The only thing Cam Newton had of note was Olsen. That's the only thing he had of note. That's it. And who's that remind you of? Kansas City.
Right. So he didn't even have great running backs. He had Jonathan Stewart and I forget who the other guy was.
Yes,
I think it was just Jonathan.
No,
Stewart.
It was another one. They ran a committee.
Okay, so
that's what I'm saying. That's him. It doesn't matter.
Right. So my point is, yes, he came in. It was a bad team, but Cam came in and changed everything. Josh came in and changed everything for this team. The difference is You're not going to walk away from this Buffalo Bills team saying they had a Hall of Famer at middle linebacker and they had a cornerback that led the league in interceptions in any particular year.
D'Angelo Williams.
Huh?
D'Angelo Williams.
D'Angelo Williams. That's right. D'Angelo Williams is always kind of that top of the tier 2 running backs, so to speak. Never an elite guy, but the combination of him and Jonathan Stewart was really, really good.
Okay, you cognizant. You got me on that one. Touche.
What'd he say?
Touche. He got me on that one. I'll admit it. I'll admit it. Right there. Up one.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. No. His next one up there. Mahomes said confident coaches, which could be the difference between Hall of Fame and like Phillip Rivers.
Oh, yeah.
Touche. Okay.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Mike Tolbert. Oh, that pissed me off. Oh, that pissed me off. When they signed him, I said, what the hell is even that?
No, so C-Mac didn't even get there until I think 2 years into Cam. Yeah, what? So hold on. Let's. No, I'm not gonna do it there. Sorry, I don't know why I did that.
You forgot where you were. That's all right.
I did forget where I was. So what year was CMC drafted? Somebody know that offhand?
I should, but I don't.
All right, he was drafted in what? 2017.
Yeah. Oh, so Cam was
eighth overall in 2017.
Yeah, Cam was what, 11?
Hold on.
He should have been 2011 because he was drafted right before Von Miller.
Cam Newton was drafted in 2011.
Yep, he was before Von Miller.
Yeah.
The reason why we got Marcel Darius, I hate Cam Newton so much. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, so wow, so 7 years, 6 years into Cam's career.
Close, yeah.
Right. Okay. So draft. So 2015. So Cam was good immediately, but they didn't make it to a Super Bowl until 4 years into Cam's career. Then, right? So yeah, they built up to it, but again, somebody in the chat, anybody of the 108 people that we have here watching live that we appreciate so much.
Yeah,
somebody please,
we love you all.
Please tell us who the Hall of Famer aside from Josh Allen is going to be on this team. Who on defense is going to be a Hall of Famer? Who on defense is going to be that 9 interceptions in a season type of player? Who on the defense is going to be that when everything is breaking down, you can count on this guy to make a play? I mean, the closest we've gotten to that is Matt Milano, and he can't stay healthy.
I'm laughing at it because you said who would be a Hall of Famer. And this is a sidebar conversation, nothing to do with football, but I'm working today, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing my thing, and the kid's still off from school, so Ken's in the back hollering, screaming, blah 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 blah. He comes out, hey Dad. I'm like, what? He's like, yo, I sniped him. I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, I sniped him. I'm him, Dad. I'm him. He's like, I'm him. I'm Himothy. I'm like, he's like, let Ken cook. I'm like, really though?
Dang.
And he did this. He's like, let Ken cook. I'm like, go back in your room, dude. Go.
I love it though. Man, I have that kind of confidence. I love that.
I was like, he threw his hands up, let him cook. I'm like, oh God, he's been watching the show.
It's your kid, bro.
It is my kid. I'm proud every day of it.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
Jordan Phillips, Hall of Famer.
Somebody said Damar Hamlin.
Yo, the way I'm telling you, the way people talk about these two players, like they might as well be, man. They might as well be. Steve says, you want to do a coaching test? Ask yourself who could win enough games if their starting quarterback got hurt and contend for a wild card. Hint, it's not McDermott.
And that's what I'm getting at.
That's it.
That's what drives me insane. Everybody's like, why do you care? Because if Josh Allen gets hurt, you're screwed anyway. Maybe not. If you have a coach that knows how to coach around it.
Exactly.
Because looking at it, but yeah, Solomon, yeah, we're cooked because it's how we're built. Well, I think I like how you said cooked because we still got cook time.
Hey.
But I think that's the thing. Like, if Josh Allen went down, Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, with the greatest of all time, what happened? When 11-5 missed the playoffs, Matt Castle.
Mm-hmm.
What did Matt Castle do outside of that year?
Right.
He got cut a bunch of times.
Yep.
He was a nice guy. Lovely kids. Nothing else on the football field. When you have a coach that can do things, they can change the scheme up. And I don't want to hear you don't have the time. We're not that far removed from what we saw when people had to do this before.
Mm-hmm. Cognitive says, we saw what would happen if Josh couldn't bail him out when Ken Dorsey, with the Ken Dorsey experiment, didn't we? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. If you, so let's be clear about this. The only difference between Ken Dorsey, I'm sorry, I should say it like this. The only difference between what we saw with Ken Dorsey and what we're seeing now is the brilliance of Joe Brady. Mm-hmm. That's really the only difference, because at the end of the day, everything that Ken Dorsey was asked to do is a lot of the same stuff that Joe Brady is being asked to do. Run the ball efficiently, West Coast offense, not necessarily the 12 formation, because that's not going to work with the guys that we have here. And I'm sure Joe Brady got that point across, which is why we're not doing it anymore. But those three things were the biggest fundamental differences and changes that happened after we got rid of Brian Daboll's offense. Right now, let's really think about what happened after Brian Daboll left.
I hate I roll up.
What he saying? Breaking news. Shaq lost him for 10.
My head was almost about to explode. Then I saw 10 million. I said, "Oh, okay, it's a joke."
Yeah. Thank you all. And he said, "I love Milano, but let's be honest, he's far from a Hall of Fame linebacker." Mm-hmm. But so let's look at it from this standpoint, right? After Brian Daboll left, what did the Bills do on offense? Did they change the offense? No, they didn't. Mm-mm. Right? In fact, the reason they hired Ken Dorsey was based on what they said publicly and in their in press conferences and stuff like that. We thought that continuity was a good idea. Yep. Right? So you thought it was a good idea to keep continuity for who? The sake of your quarterback. Right? This is what Josh wanted. They even talked about that too. Josh forgot exactly how they said it, but Josh endorsed the move, or Josh endorsed.
He did. He publicly. He did in a press conference.
Right. Mm-hmm. So they make this move for the sake of continuity, endorsed by the quarterback for the quarterback, right? And then something happens over the next two seasons, right? They start talking about, man, this offense is a little bit better under Ken Dorsey. Statistically, it's slightly better under Ken Dorsey. Right. And what was the reason for that, though? Because the one noticeable thing that happened with this offense after Brian Daboll left was we started running the ball more. Right. So you run the ball a little bit more with still that the air raid scheme. Right. And that forces defenses to have to play you a little bit more honestly. When you get to year 2 of this, the talk is Josh Allen in the offense, Josh Allen in the offense, Josh Allen in the offense. Now, meanwhile, right? Because Brian Daboll left in 22, if I'm not mistaken, or 23 rather. Sorry, because he stayed the year after 13 seconds. He left before 23 is when he left. So for those 2 years of Brian Daboll being gone, and you talking about this offense, I'm sure that Sean McDermott was looking at his statistics, right? And the reason I asked the question in the first place of when Daboll left, in 20, matter of fact, I think I got it. The defensive rankings for 2022 and 2023, right? Those are injuries.
What are you looking for?
The defensive rankings for 2023 and 2024. You got those? I think I wrote them down. I just gotta. Yep, here it is. Okay, so in 2023, the opponent's third down conversion rate was 38.6%. The year before that, it was 37.5%. When Daboll was there in 2021, the best season that we've had, the opponent's third down conversion rate was 30.8%. They had the number one defense in the league that year. So right at the point where Daboll is on his way out of the door, we have 2 of the worst defensive performances and rankings that we've had to this point, right? So Sean McDermott at that point is looking at his defensive rankings going down and the offensive rankings going up from an offense that was designed by a guy who's no longer in the building. Right? Now, here's why I can point to this stuff and say that I know for a fact that Sean McDermott thinks from a jealousy standpoint, right? And not jealousy just for the sake of jealousy, but jealousy from the standpoint of he doesn't want anyone else outside of himself being the focus or the reason why the team has the success that it has. If you have read the Tyler Dunn report, you will see multiple instances in which Sean McDermott made the lives of his employees harder in order to achieve the specific cultural and behavioral goals that he wanted to see in the people around him. His mindset is not, I'm going to do the hard work to make the jobs of the people around me easier. His mindset is, everybody's going to conform to what I want so that my job is easier, so that it's easier for me to coach. It's easier for me to manage. That's his mindset. Okay. And if you don't believe that, if you don't want to hear what I'm saying and you don't want to accept it, go read the Tyler Dunn report. You'll see examples of conflicts with players. You'll see examples of conflicts with, I think Chad Hall was a prime example of that. Getting the truck for his birthday. Sean McDermott got pissed off and literally changed the man's work hours because he felt like if you got time to get trucks and hang out with the guys and stuff like that, then that means you ain't working hard enough. Like, this happened consequently in succession chronologically. He got the truck, then his hours got changed. That's documented. Go read the report.
Well, was it because now he get to work at a different hour? The bus don't run early. That might be what it is.
Now, what the report also states is, at the time, Chad Hall had just had a kid. 1-year-old child at home. Got to work. Got to get to work an hour earlier and stay an hour later. And he enforced that for everybody so that it wouldn't seem like that was just for Chad Hall. This is documented stuff, people. Don't take my word for it. You go read all 28,000 words of that report, and then let's come back and have a conversation. That's what we're talking about. Okay, so you can see how Sean McDermott looks at the statistics of everything and says, well, ain't no way I'm about to have Brian Daboll bragging about how his offense is still over here putting in work, and my statistics are going down on the side of the ball. Because at the time, mind you, people were starting to ask questions about this defense, right? How come they can't get it done in the playoffs? How come this? How come that? Right? So what does he do? We're going to start doing things offensively that accentuate and assist my defensive scheme. I want to win with defense, so I have to be more efficient on offense so that my defense is not hung out to dry as much, so that my defense is not on the field as much. I want to hold on to the ball longer. I want to run the ball. What does that do? Makes it so much easier for a defense.
Yeah.
So much easier for a defense. But you know which coaches usually coach in that way on defense? Coaches that build a great defensive line and let all 4 of their starters play the entire game unless they're tired and need to take a down or 2 out.
Helmet. You got to tap your helmet.
Right? If you ain't, or if you ain't, helmet. Right. If you ain't doing none of that, you staying on the field. Right? Why? Again, another contradiction, and then I'm done with this point. Why in the world do you build a defensive line that's supposed to rotate, but you want your offense to make it so that your defense doesn't have to be on the field as much?
Right. And to circle back to actually want to hit this. What is the defensive scheme? Easily answered. Nobody knows. And the reason why I say that is because Sean asked earlier, actually asked twice, Sean, I'm trying to get to your point. You got to come on tangent here. But no, to your point about Taron Johnson possibly being off the team after the season, I don't really see it. Mostly because I think they're going to restructure him to get under the cap this year. Mm-hmm. And also after this year, assuming they don't do anything with his contract, he has a $7 million dead cap in 2026 and $3 million dead cap. $3 million savings. So you're actually negative gain in 2026. I don't think, unless they do something creative with his contract and eat the void years later on. That's the only thing I can think they could do to get out of his contract. Because in 2028, he has $3.1 million in dead cap. So depending on how we play with the rest of this thing, if you really need him off your team, then yeah, you
For
could move
this
him.
for Samuel. I'm sorry.
No, for Taron Johnson.
Oh, okay. No,
he's
then
interested in going to a 4-3, which would be cool, at least having the flexibility. But I think even more than that, let's think about this. Do we need Taron Johnson off the team, or do we need McDermott to be less stubborn and get another linebacker and run different packages? Because that's allowed. That is allowed. Last time I thought about it. And it's just the coach that doesn't want to go outside that 4-2. Taron Johnson's probably like, I'm getting old, I'm getting concussions. I wouldn't mind playing a little less, making the same money.
Right.
I've done what I need to do. I'm a premier nickel. Everybody knows that. Let me sit down sometime.
That's it.
So I think that is what is McDermott did. I'll get that for you in a second.
Look, I think the Bills defense, their philosophy, right? Because the Bills defense doesn't have an identity. Their team identity is energy and attitude.
Yep.
Based on what we've been seeing in the Hard Knocks, that's their identity. I don't even think the coaches would disagree with that whatsoever. I think they want that to be their identity, attitude and energy, right? So when you're thinking about an identity from the standpoint of, well, what's the scheme? Attitude and energy. Mm-hmm. That's it. Outside of that, here's what we want our players to do defensively, right? But this attitude and energy thing kind of takes away from, as you said, smart schematics, right? Because think about what we could be in run defense with 3 linebackers and the third linebacker being Dorian Williams playing strong side. Yep. Who's typically the best run defender of the 3 in a traditional 4-3 scheme, right? Now you factor into that, as you said, like, we're just kind of thinking this process through. What if we decided to dial back Taron Johnson's reps and keep him in on third downs and stuff, right? Well, what does that do for his career? That exponentially elongates it, because he's 28 going on 35 right now.
Yes, easily.
You know what I'm saying? His body has been so banged up from being in the game on first and second down, right? Teams are not throwing like that anymore. As long as you keep those 2 safeties back, teams are just going to run the ball on you and try to throw underneath as much as possible. So it's not like you actually need the nickel corner out there, right? It helps as a deterrent, but that deterrent isn't absolutely necessary. And with the way you've built your defensive line, you're going to give up runs up the gut anyway. So why not get an additional linebacker to shore up the middle of the spine of your defense, right? And look, again, the advanced statistics will tell you that the most dangerous plays in the run game are around the edges of the defense, right? That's what the advanced analytics will tell you. And that's why Sean built the defensive line the way that he did. That's why he has good run stuffing defensive ends that are great at setting the edge. And that's why he wants the pressure to come from up the middle. The advanced analytics will also say the shortest distance between any 2 points is a straight line. Make your defensive tackles the ones that get pressure right up the middle, right in the quarterback's face. That's the fastest and most efficient way to get pressure on the quarterback, right? Except when you have that and you open yourself up to the run in that way, you don't have to worry ever about getting pressure on the quarterback, because they're never going to be in high leverage situations on long third down and distance to give your defensive line a chance to create that kind of pressure. What are you seeing in this chat, bro? I'm seeing some weird looks on your face.
I'm like indulging the chat. Well, somebody, Roy, of course, he got to poke the bear. So I'm like, yeah, I do. I love him. I love void years. Put him in my bowl. Then somebody else said, let's run a 3-4, which I'm in my mind, I was already thinking, I'm like, okay.
God, that.
But no, see, this is where I was. Stay with me now.
Hold on.
Stay with me now.
I was thinking about a line, and this blew my gasket.
Okay.
I don't know who said it, but I want to credit you. So say it again if it was you, because I don't have time to go back and look for it. But think about this D line. You got Walker at end. So a 5-tech Walker.
Okay.
TJ Sanders, 5-tech. Desmond Watson at nose because he just got released.
Ooh.
So then you could freaking have a 3-3. What is that?
3-3-5?
Where you put Taron Johnson somewhere if you want. You still got 3 linebackers on the field. That's a sub package.
Yeah,
that's a sub package.
Yeah.
So you could still you like rotating your defensive line. Rousseau could play an edge if you want him to. You could line him up out there in the 2-point. He already lines up in the 2-point anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You got Milano in there. You got you could do whatever you want in that regard. So
there wouldn't be too much difference between what Rex tried to do in asking Mario Williams to play coverage and asking Greg Rousseau to play.
The only difference is Mario Williams was established pass rushing expertise. Right. He was established in Buffalo the year prior. Double-digit sacks. He made Aaron Rodgers look dumb.
I understand you, Rex, except I just put up 10 sacks last season.
Did you not see that 13-4? Did you not see that? You want me to do what? Man, I'm out of here. You can take that $96 million shove it. I don't even care. I got enough.
I think this is complete.
Right.
I had so many sacks last season. You want me to play the coverage?
Who authorized this?
It'll sound like Bobcat Gold.
Right. I want to play. Yeah, no, I that would have been interesting, and I think there is, and Sean, sure, no problem. I gotta get this off because this is driving me nuts. No, I am not an advocate for any of that. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Like if the heading went away, oh God, it's gonna stay forever. But no, I think that there is a lot of stuff, and this is my mindset. And Sean, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the signings they make. It's like you could be so creative. You could get guys that that can do sub package work. You could get you a depth linebacker, because right now I don't have Jimmy Charlo making the team. I have him on the practice squad.
Yeah.
Keontae Jenkins, he'd be a nice practice squad addition as well. But then you have Buffalo Joe, who I just watched Hard Knocks, and all I heard was, "Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe." But didn't I say before that? I said, can we remove Buffalo Joe and make him Joe Andreessen and evaluate him that way? Can we make Jimmy Charlo Buffalo Jimmy? That doesn't roll off your tongue, but I mean, does he get the award because he came in 2 days before the second game or whatever it was and made plays? Special teams ace, made plays. What else do you expect? But of course, practice squad him. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we could use some of that money that we had, and yeah, I got to bring more smooth jazz to the event. And we could have been that 3-3-5. We could have been that 4-3 over. We could have made people's heads spin. If he's a defensive guru, when have we ever seen it? Because defensive gurus don't just run one set. In 2023, they might do this. 2024, they might change to do that because Mike White was there, or Mike Green was there, or you might like Prince, you mind yelling. You might like Jason Owe, who is now Adafe Owe, but it didn't fit the year before. But I know how to make it work because this is talent. And everybody that says, well, you're not going to get elite talent because you draft so late. If you're a defensive guru, why not? Because I know how to make him look good. You did it with Christian Benford.
Yeah. You're
doing it with Taylor Rapp. You're doing it with Ed Oliver. You're doing it with all these other guys. And that's one thing that bothered me. People were talking about how great. No, not Davis. It's going to be Zach Davidson, the punter, Len, because he boomed that sucker.
Man, he need to be. Good Lord.
We could play a 4-4 bear if he was creative enough. But this is the thing. Everybody was like, "Oh, Deion Walker, revelation. He's the next coming of what?" He played against guys that's going to be working at super duper.
Right.
And I don't know if anybody, if you really took the time to watch his run sets, they're horrible.
Yeah.
He's horrible in a run, and his pass rush it's okay. But it's usually because he slips through a slide that didn't happen. Good guards, starting guards have feet. They have footwork, have elite footwork, and they're going to slide over. He gets reach, he does this stuff, but he's got to learn how to push the pocket better against better guards, against better centers. He's not getting double teamed. Why is that? Why is TJ Sanders But see, this is the thing. This is what's going to happen. TJ Sanders is going to become the next Ed Oliver because all the pass rush in the world, all the quicks in the world, all this in the world, but he's getting double teamed every time.
Exactly.
And I think Laura, that's something you want to look at too. Why is it that the big guy is not getting double teamed? Super duper. No, it doesn't still exist, but hey, I had to use it. Deion Walker's a young Jordan Phillips. Shut up, Steve. Shut up, Steve. But yeah, that's the thing. And somebody, I wanted to get on because it made me laugh. Oh, Len, okay. Yeah, you're right. But somebody, they said, what's easier to teach, 52% passer percentage?
Oh, yeah.
Or a tall guy to bend at the knees. I'm 6'6", 52% passer.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that, bro.
52%.
You know how tough it is to get a guy like that to not bend at the waist?
And all his weight is up here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So. That's why I said, like, I can't see Deion Walker. Like, we said this before. We said this last episode. The idea of attitude over ability assumes that we can take a guy like Deion Walker and turn him into a run stuffer and still be good at pass rushing. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what it takes to be a run stuffer? You've got to be heavy down low.
Yep.
You got to have weight in the thighs, the hips, and the waist area. Yep. You have to. Yep. That's why a guy like Jordan Davis was so appealing to me because he's thick down low.
Yep. I know you had to have one. You had to have one. I'm sure he missed one or something somewhere, but you tried
you
it.
were fine that whole time.
I know, but it needed to be said that way. But anyway,
we know what you mean.
But that's why Tavondre Sweat or Jordan Day. That's why those guys were like, you go get that guy, right? But the Bills were looking at it as, why do we have to invest a first round pick in those guys when they're not great pass rushers?
Right.
Because you already have a pass rusher, you idiot. That's why you do it. You don't need pass rushers across the board at defensive tackle. Right. You can have one great one. Right. Ed Oliver would have been that.
Yeah.
Ed Oliver would have been that. Yeah. And instead of doing what it takes to unlock one player and make him a freaking superstar, you'd rather have a bunch of B-plus level players across the defensive line and think you're just going to overwhelm people with numbers. Has it worked so far?
Nope.
There was one comment I wanted to.
And Steve, I can tell you. No, you're good. I can tell you without even putting it up. No, Andreessen, I'm a season ticket holder for UB, so I've seen everything you need to see out of all of them, and I can tell you, Andreessen transferred in, played next to Dolak, and he was a good run fitter. He was a good run fitter. What you see now, but when Dolak got hurt, Andreessen to take over, and that's what did it. But no, Dolak is light years. And I'm sorry if Andreessen family's watching. I'm sorry, but Dolak is light years above Andreessen. I mean, it's not even close. It's not close. Dolak, you've watched the show. I've raved about to do every game after this, every show after the game this last season. Mm-hmm. I raved about to do 14 sacks, 20 sacks, 19 sacks, interception, pick six. This does it all. He reminds me of a Khalil Mack kind of player. Like, he's not that like a pass rusher, but that's the impact he had on a team. He made a defensive backfield that looked horrible under the previous regime. Matter of fact, he left because we had a coach before, Mo Lindquist. He left, and he says he just wanted to see the mountains. No. When Lindquist left and went to Alabama to get whatever job he got, we got Pete Limbo. Oh, Dolak came back. He was at Utah State. That's where he went. We got rid of Lindquist. We got Limbo. Dolak, I'm coming back. I just want to see the mountains. I know it's coming back. No, you didn't. You knew you were going to be a star at Utah State. Don't do that. Don't do me like that.
Yep.
But yeah, no. So no, that's 100% what it is. Oliver is basically doing the 1T. I wish people, Sean, we turned it all the way around. We did a whole 180. Now we're best friends. I've been saying it the whole time. Like, everybody's like, he sucks. He's got 3 sacks. How do you get more than 3 sacks as a one tick at 285 pounds? If you've seen that Oliver in person, you would know what I'm talking about. He's not a big dude at all. He doesn't even look strong. He's strong, but he looks fast. He looks like that Poona Ford. Remember what Poona Ford, what he did in Buffalo? Mm-hmm. Nothing, because guess what? They misused him and said, no, you suck. Sit down. He goes to where was it? The Chargers, and tore the head. He tore it apart.
Yep.
Why is it Oliver got to sit and be subjected to this as well?
Right. I guess this is from when we were talking about Cam Newton. Tommy says Newton MVP season was with Dorsey.
Oh no, Tommy's been going ham about Dorsey and how he's the best for Josh Allen. Somebody else said that Josh Allen would have been Josh Allen anywhere he went because he wanted to be better. Tommy said, I don't agree at all. I was reading it, but he said I don't agree at all. It was a long deal. I don't know who he was talking to, but yeah, they Walker has BBL thighs, prison built.
What? Hey, yo, he has what? Where did you see that at?
Go up a little bit. Just
here it is. Prison build. Yo, that's cold blooded. That's cold blooded. Look, this idea of Dorsey being this wizard as a quarterbacks coach, go back and look at what the Carolina Panthers ran for most of Cam Newton's career.
Where's Olsen?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
a lot of it was the same read option concepts and a lot of the same stuff that he did at Auburn. A lot of the same exact stuff. They built the offense around Cam Newton. They didn't develop Cam Newton into this offensive monster.
Yeah,
they just did what he did best. And what created success for them was, at the time, they had a dominant tight end. They had one unstoppable weapon. And then Cam Newton himself was so unstoppable because of his athletic ability that he created his own options. Like, think about some of the receivers that this guy has had. He didn't come up with Steve Smith. He didn't come up with or I think he did play with Steve Smith 1 year, if I'm not mistaken. But he didn't come up with, great receivers. He had one tight end, and that's it. Ted Ginn Jr. was the next best thing he had at receiver, and that was a huge mistake.
SDB, same wavelength. He said the same thing.
Right. So again, what in all of that did Ken Dorsey do? Because we've seen what it looks like when you do what works for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Right. We've seen that in Geno Smith. He was a nobody before he went to Seattle, and all of a sudden, let's do things you're comfortable with. He blossoms. Right. Sam Darnold, horrible with the Jets, goes to an offensive mind in Minnesota. Let's do some of the stuff you're good at. Wow, look at this guy. Is this a renaissance of a rejuvenation of his career? Has he finally turned the corner? Has he become a franchise quarterback? It's about doing what works. So you can't give Ken Dorsey the credit for what happened with Cam Newton's success. Look at what the offense was. Matter of fact, case in point, if you go back and do the research on Mike Shula and the other offensive coordinator, because they had two in 2015 when they made the Super Bowl. They had two offensive coordinators, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It's weird.
But when you do, and we've done this on the show, so that's how I know this stuff. We actually went back and looked at the history of Mike Shula and some of the criticisms on Mike Shula, and a lot of that stuff was some of the same stuff that we were seeing when Mike Shula was a senior offensive assistant here, which was lack of halftime adjustments, lack of adjustments in game period, offensive systems and route combinations that were very basic, oftentimes receivers being in the same positions. Like, these are all criticisms of a Mike Shula offense.
Right.
And Mike Shula was probably higher, the highest of the two offensive coordinators that year they made the Super Bowl. The other guy was just a pass game coordinator. Right? So again, where was all this super great coaching help that Cam Newton had? It takes a team to get that far. I'm not saying that the coaches didn't do anything, but let's not credit these guys because they've had players under them that have had success. You know what I'm saying? And Nate will probably love this one. I think that plays the same kind of conversation, the same kind of role with Brian Daboll, right? Because we can't say definitively that Brian Daboll being here was the singular thing that helped Josh be great. Josh went and did work with Jordan Palmer, right, to get his accuracy up, get his mechanics right, and stuff like that. Who knows that? Who can say that wasn't the specific reason that Josh was able to become great?
That's what Josh did,
right?
Yeah.
So again, context is all I'm asking for. We don't have to be perfect in our opinions. We don't have to, but in what we think and what we say, as definitive standpoints that we take, context should be considered. Mm-hmm. Everything is a convergence of information. Everything is a convergence of multiple different things that allow a situation to be what it is. We can't oversimplify stuff.
Yeah. And I can tell you, we have some bad news for the people at home.
Ooh.
I have to work late on Friday, so I won't be able to do a show on Friday.
Oh.
Then Monday is a holiday, so I don't know how that's going to go. But if you enjoyed the show, 110 people still rocking with us.
Yeah, thank you.
My schedule is changing again. I'm off on Mondays again.
Yes!
So not only can we really go off the cuff here, on Mondays, the day after the game, we can also talk about that Reese tea.
Oh yeah.
Why would we not? Why would we not talk about Reese tea when it's one part refreshing, one part delicious? Curtain man, hit me. It's also 2 parts healthy. That's what you can expect. There's only 4 ingredients. I don't even drink tea, but let me tell you, that's a good drink there. What are you doing? Head over to Reese. Get yourself a supply by the case or the individual. Why would you do that? Get yourself the case. You will not be disappointed. I said you will not, sir, be disappointed.
Oh my God.
What do I know? Not much. See for yourself. Reese tea. Click the link in the description below and use the code PPP to let them know who sent you.
All right, we're gonna start this music, let it breathe for a second, and then we're gonna come back in. All right. Hopefully that is long enough. Hopefully that's long enough. Hopefully that's long enough. Hopefully you all can hear me clearly. Look, Reese tea is on the rise, y'all. Y'all gotta either get with it or get out of here. Because what are you doing if you're not making an order right now? Look, the Reese tea tent that we talked about, we're gonna be at Prohibition every home game. All right, we got folks getting there at 7:30 in the morning to set up. So if you're one of those early risers and you're trying to get that worm early, you need to head up over there, get your tailgate started early, get over to the tent. Should be set up by about 8 o'clock, and get you some Reese tea early. Like I said, spike it or take it straight up. Either way, it's the best tasting tea in town. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. I haven't heard from Rich in a very long time. My guy, High Mike High Tech, who handles all of our tech issues. We ain't got no more Temu cords because of him. So if you got any kind of technical issues and you need a guy to come check it out, tell you what's going on with it, or if you need a new build computer, I got 2 built by this dude, and they both are performing extremely well. I got one that I've had for almost 10 years now, still works like a charm, and I got another one that I spent a little bit more on so I can do some video editing, some gaming stuff and music stuff. And that one that's supposed to last me another 7 to 10 years. So trust me when I tell you this man knows what he's talking about. He's the real deal. High Mike High Tech. Link is in the description. We got to get out of here. We got to get out of here quickly. So here's what I'm going to do. Everything else you need to know about us is in the description of this video. If you enjoyed what you heard and you want to support for free, you can hit that like button. You can also hit that subscribe button, both free. But if you want to do yourself a favor in the process, you got to hit that bell. You got to make that thing so that you can get notifications when we send notifications, like reiteration of what Key just said. We will not be here this Friday, correct?
Yeah.
This Friday, we will not be here. Monday is a holiday, so we won't be here Monday either. So your next opportunity to see us is going to be next Friday. Not this coming Friday, the Friday next after that.
Well, while you're at it, just catch up on the old shows.
There you go.
Watch the growth.
Yeah. Listen, do it. This would be cool for y'all.
Yeah, do it.
Go back and watch our first episode.
You guys suck. Oh, we know.
Go back and watch our first episode, and then just message us about it. Whether it's in the comments of that video or wherever you comments.
Put it in the comments of that video.
Say something. Just let us know you checked it out, and let us know how ridiculous we sound. All right. With that being said, this has been Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
For the keys.
Hey, Bruce in the building. Signing out.
All right. Y'all have a great night. Peace.